This is a production of Dirty Mo Media. This bit of badassery was made by Dirty Mo Media. Dirty Mo Media.
And the age-old cry, of course, is, gentlemen, start your engines.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Buckle up. Time for the Dale Jr. Download. The podcast. The TV show.
Introducing your hosts. The managing director of the Dale Jr. brand and founder of Dirty Mo Media, Mike Davis.
That's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Again, take it for a second lap.
White flag right there, white flag.
20 years of drive, 20 years of frustration.
The legacy continues.
You're going to do it. You're going to win it. Right with you. You're clear. Checker flag. You win.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the 46th Daytona 500.
Two-time NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, two-time Daytona 500 winner, and a NASCAR Hall of Famer, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
The Dale Jr. Download in 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
All right. How
Wow.
about this?
I can't believe it.
Man, this is awesome.
I didn't think anybody would show.
Oh, bullshit. I figured everybody would show, but I didn't know if they'd be here for us for the beer.
They could leave, you know.
Yeah.
They realize what's going on now. But, yeah, they are here for beer. I've seen a few already out here.
I want a beer.
Yep.
Yeah, let's get us a beer up here.
Oh, look. Yes, sir. I owe you a beer. You met the code. I've got a waitress here. She's going to come send you a beer. There's another one. Oh, yeah, this is going to get – I should have thought through this plan a little bit better.
Yeah. We're going to have plenty of beer. No problem with that.
Find me later.
We want to thank everybody for coming out tonight at Old Red. Appreciate all y'all for showing up and supporting the Dale Jr. Downloads, supporting everything we do with Dirty Mo Media. I've already met some of you that are in here tonight. This is a live show. We don't do any live shows, but here we are in Nashville. It's a great place to be, an amazing city. I've had a lot of fun in this town. And I'll have some this weekend. I know you guys will too, but we're excited about the races here this weekend. Went over to the racetrack today. Practice went really good. Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
That's perfect.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so we're just excited to give this a go, have a live show. We got a special guest coming up here later. And we're gonna have some fun tonight. We got a lot of things that we wanted to cover. Mike, we got some stories that we were talking about. Me and you, we were prepping on what to do for this, and Mike said, "Man, we ought to tell some stories because we've been doing this show for a long time. But before that, me and Mike have worked together since 2004, right? So we've worked together on the road, and he was my publicist and PR manager when I was driving the Bud car and then into driving the Hendrick Motorsports car. And so we've got a lot of history.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about some of the funnier stories that we wanted to share tonight. Some we decided we might not should share.
Right. That's for later.
That's right.
Here's the thing. People ask me all the time, what's it like to work for Dale Jr., right? Or what's the funniest thing that you and Dale have ever done? Or what's the maddest you've been? There's answers to all of these things.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start you off with a story. And this isn't just a story. It's a bit of a disclaimer. Are there any couples in here that are not married but they're dating? Anybody? Oh, right here. Okay, listen up. This is for you. Dale Jr. walked into a bar. It was 2004. It was an off weekend. Dale Jr. witnessed a wedding proposal.
Oh, yeah.
You know about it? You remember this?
I do.
All right. As romantic as that is in a bar, a proposal in a bar, Dale Jr. was smitten, I guess, and so he befriends the soon-to-be groom.
I mean, you see somebody make a proposal, you obviously want to congratulate them.
Yeah.
Maybe you buy them a drink. So
Right.
then we became friends very, very quickly.
And he talks the guy into getting married like in 2 weeks.
I told him, I said, why don't you get married at a race? They were talking about being, fans of NASCAR, and I said, well, yeah, and they were going to go to Atlanta, and I
Yeah.
was like, man, you ought to get married there. I heard, I've seen it happen before, right on the front straightaway. That'd be pretty awesome. And I don't know if she loved the idea as much as he did.
They're drunk, so they would, but they'll even promise to be his best man.
Yeah.
That's why I said
I
don't
was
get
drunk.
any ideas.
I was also drunk.
Yes, you were. Dale says he's going to be the best. Everybody's cheering when you say you get drunk. What's up with y'all? So Dale Jr. at Atlanta Motor Speedway 2004. This is the 4th race of the year. You might remember Dale Jr. fans if you're out here. Dale Jr. won the Daytona 500 to start the year, right? He finished top 5 at Rockingham, which he was more happy about that than he was the Daytona race.
Yeah, Rockingham was tough.
Then we went to Vegas. Does anybody remember about Vegas? We sucked. Out loud.
Yeah.
They were going to black flag us for being too slow.
We pitted in the middle of the race to change all
Everything.
4 shots.
Right. We
Which
were
ne-
too slow, and there wasn't a scratch on the
Yeah.
car. Nothing wrong with it.
It was
just
bad.
that bad. But now we're at Atlanta, and Dale's going to be the best man at this guy's wedding, who now I'm brought into the picture, get the guy credentials, his wife. And we do the ceremony just like you would expect it to be. Whatever's in your head, that's what it looked like, okay?
And I was the best man, and I was good.
He did good, right? Got a little tear in his eye.
Yeah.
That's where the story should have ended.
Yeah.
But that's not where it ends. 3 months later, I get a phone call. It's from the groom's brother. And he says, hey, have you seen my brother lately? And I said, no. And he says, well, we just figured, being that Dale Jr. was his best man, maybe he's at the best man's house. And we're like, why would he be at the best man's house? And he says, because the FBI has a manhunt for him.
Yep.
Turns out our friend, your friend,
Yeah.
is wanted.
He's a con man.
He's a con man. And I said, he goes, you didn't know that he was a con man, right? And I'm like, no. And
I'm
he goes,
telling
well-
you, of all the people that you might befriend in the bar tonight, make sure they're not a con man.
Right. I think a con man's probably getting escorted out right now. They got him going
Oh,
out
boy.
quick. He done something. Either way,
That
though.
might be the
That
guy.
might be him. It came full circle. he's back. He's your buddy. I tell you what, though. My point on this, the moral of the story is, Dale Jr. don't need to be your best man. Dale Jr. don't need to be your wedding planner. He don't know how to pick them. That's for you, and that's for all you other couples out there. Now, we're not trying to discourage a proposal tonight. It would make the show fun, but that's, oh, what? You got some proposals going on over here? They're thinking about it. But that's your first Dale Jr. story of the night. It's get him in a bar, get him drunk. There's no telling what's going to happen.
That might be a good question. Who might propose tonight? Raise your hand.
Who's thinking about it?
Who's thinking? No, we got one over
Wait,
here. Another one
who-
over here.
You're thinking about it?
There's love in the air. I can tell.
He's thought about it. It's you? Hey, excuse me, ma'am. You know him, right? Did you meet him tonight? Listen, yeah. There may be some proposals tonight of people that they don't even currently know each
if
other.
there's not a proposal tonight on Broadway, I'll be disappointed.
That's right. All right. Listen, I got to ask you, Dale, something. We're going to, before we bring up our guests, I got a couple things that we got to clear up. I think he's got some news for us. But first of all, Dale Jr.'s been back in the booth today. He's back on the NBC job. He's been, yep. You've got the Ally 400 this weekend, and Dale's going to be in the booth calling the race. So,
Yeah.
how was it today?
A lot of fun. At this racetrack, the booth's really good. The sun sets over your back. So all you fans that have general admission tickets and grandstand tickets, you're in the shade all day long. That's good for all of us. We don't have the sun glaring down in our faces, so it's a great shot across the racetrack. We covered Xfinity practice and Cup practice. Feels like we never left. The energy is great. I think it's because me, Jeff Burton, Steve Letarte and Rick Allen all took our wives on a week vacation together, which was, it actually was a lot of fun. You know, going to vacation with your coworkers might not all be a good idea, but
No.
we had a blast. My point is that we're all really, really close friends. We love hanging out with each other, and when we're in the booth, we're just a couple friends talking about racing. And so I'm glad to be back up there. We're going 20 weeks straight all the way to Phoenix when we crown our champion. It's going to be a blast every single weekend. I don't tell Amy that when I leave. I say, man, I'm going to work. But we have a lot of fun, and she's at home with the kids, which I wish I was with them, and I wish they were on the road sometimes. But this is a great job, and I enjoy doing it. So looking forward to some great racing this weekend. Track looks excellent. Looks like everybody's going to have a blast out there. So
Yeah, that's right. Listen, we're all glad to hear him back in the booth. It's fun watching the NBC broadcast of NASCAR. It's a lot of fun. All right. Who caught Dale Jr. social media this week? Might have seen him back in a race car. Anybody?
hey,
All right. Dale Jr., you've got some explaining to do.
yeah. So
You've got explaining to
I
do.
do. So we've been working. You guys know, if you're from around here, you know I'm very passionate about the fairgrounds and Nashville Fairgrounds. So obviously,
Oh, we've got fairground fans
all
here.
of us that know the fairgrounds, we love that place and the history there, and we want the future of that racetrack to be great. And I feel the same passion for North Wilkesboro Speedway, which is a little bit closer to my house. It's only about 45 minutes from my house. I mean, it's crazy how close it is. It's been sitting there since 1996, abandoned, whatever you want to call it. It was a lost speedway. Me and Matthew actually talked about doing an episode on our TV show. Through a lot of effort, a lot of interest, we've been able to bring this racetrack back to life. And there is racing scheduled at North Wilkesboro Speedway in August. And there'll be races happening every single week. Also in October, they're going to dig the asphalt up and turn it into a dirt track. And there'll be races in October every week at North Wilkesboro Speedway as well. And then they'll repave it next year. So anyhow, this racetrack's getting a lot of refurbishing done to it. They're working on it every single day, trying to get it ready for the races in August. I own late model stock cars. They used to race late model stocks at Nashville Fairgrounds. I would come race and compete there with my car. They run a left-handed chassis there now. But my point is that I run late model stock cars all across the Southeast. And we're going to enter 2 cars on the 31st of August. There's a race. We're going to enter 2 cars, and I'm driving one of them. So,
Hey, we going to toast that or
yeah.
what?
Let's
Yes, sir.
let's have a cheers.
Dale's
to
back in the car, baby.
doing some short track racing. I haven't drove a late model stock car since 1997.
Wow.
So that's a long time.
All right.
I've been wanting to drive our cars for a really long time, but just hadn't had the guts to do it. When we talked about bringing North Wilkesboro back, if they were going to have a late model stock race there, it was too much to pass up. So the race is August the 31st. If you want to come out, you can get tickets. Let's see here. You can get tickets at racexr.com. Racexr.com. You can go to northwilkesborospeedway.com also and get tickets there. Please come out and support that racetrack, because if we don't have folks in the stands, it won't go any further than this. It won't go any further than what we're going to do this year if we don't have people come out and check it out. I'm going to show up for some of these races that I'm not driving in just to sit and watch. I'm bringing my pop-up camper.
Cooler
I'm going to
beer.
wind that damn thing up.
Yes.
I'm going to get me a cooler of beer, and I'm going to turn on some music, and we're going to sit out there and have some fun. So hopefully I'll see you there.
Dale Jr.'s back in the car, everybody. Let's take a drink to that.
Hey.
Hope to see you guys at Wilkesboro. That's going to be a lot of fun, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Dale in the late model. Listen, if anybody saw our series with Matthew and Dale, Lost Speedways, we told a bit of a story in the Myrtle Beach episode about Dale's late model career. Well, this is coming full circle, because if you saw that episode, he got back in a late model, just was taking laps at Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
Now this is going to be at Wilkesboro, man. A lot of fun. You looked like you were having a blast, by the way.
I ran about 75, 80 laps Wednesday at the track. Josh Berry, my Xfinity driver, came out and ran about 30 laps. We've got, if you all remember Travis Quapple that used to race in the Cup Series with us, We now have his son, Carson, racing our late model stock car this year. And he drove as well. Carson's a great kid. He'll be racing with me on the 31st of August in that race. Josh Berry doesn't want to run. He wants to be my crew chief. So I've tried to talk him into driving in the race, but he wants to hang out and have fun, be my crew chief.
But wait a second, though.
Yeah.
He turned laps.
He did.
And you turned laps
Yes.
in Carson. And I know you race car drivers keep times.
You damn right.
How was your lap time compared to Josh's?
Me and Carson were the best. I was the fastest.
Oh.
Carson was second fastest, then Josh was third fastest. But
Can we believe that? Are you just?
I got some evidence. If you want.
got evidence?
Yeah, I can get you
Okay.
receipts.
Hadn't raced since the mid-'90s, but goes in there and lays the quick lap down. All right.
Yeah, it's a fun racetrack. You drive downhill on the front stretch, turn, and then go uphill.
Wow.
It's very pronounced. DW can tell you. Junior Johnson, the guy he used to race for. Did I just give away our special guest?
A little bit. It's
Yeah.
okay.
He used to.
Hey, I got a story about Dale doing that too, by the way.
So, anyways, Junior Johnson lives right next door, so that'd be the guy to talk to about Northwest Girls Speedway.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm excited about that. Hey, real quick, I couldn't help but notice today, since we're sitting here kind of spitballing some news, I saw our buddy Truex announce he's coming back next year. He
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
let it- Oh, y'all liking that? You down for that?
The funny thing about Truex's announcement, right, is, when you put out an announcement that, you're extending your contract, you're going to have a press release or something like that. Truex was sent out a press release and it said, "I'm coming back."
Yeah.
That's it.
Most
Like,
Truex tweet ever.
I joke about him all the time because every time I text him, it's like one word answers.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, man. He don't even do emojis. And so it's the most Truex announcement ever.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you going to run one more year? Yep. I'm coming back. All right.
That'll be fun. I'm glad to see Martin back in the car. We need those guys. I mean, still, man.
Yeah.
These young guys are great. I mean, listen, I like watching the young ones, but I'm not ready to let go of the ones that we've been familiar with. Are you with me on that? I mean, like.
I was hoping that Martin would want to come over and help us start our Cup team, Junior Motorsports. Yeah. Why would?
Whoa. What the heck?
That's coming full circle. I mean, I helped him get started, so he might as well help us come get started.
No, forget that. Or did you just announce that we're going cup racing? No. All kinds of news for y'all
Boy,
tonight. We're drunk. It's going to be like this. This is the kind of night it's
I
going to be.
wish it was that easy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Hey, we want to go. We're working our tails off trying to exhaust every opportunity to be able. We want to go Cup racing. Junior Motorsports absolutely wants to be in the Cup Series. If y'all knew the amount of conversations that my sister Kelly, who is literally the leader of the company, if y'all knew all the conversations she's had in the last 12 months trying to learn about how we can maybe get that done, y'all would really be happy because she's worked her tail off. Yeah.
Good job. Awesome. Well,
yeah.
What do you think? Should we bring up our guest?
Yeah, so Ally, we're here because of Ally tonight.
That's
Ally
right.
has become a new partner of ours on the Dale Jr. Download, and they sponsor the guest segment. So I want to give a big hand to Ally for everything they do for us. They do a lot for the sport as well, sponsoring race cars. They're sponsoring the race this weekend, the Ally 400. So let's do it. Let's not wait another minute. Let's go ahead and get it going.
Matthew? How you feeling?
Several NASCAR drivers were in Nashville, Tennessee last weekend. We're
going to spend some time with this brilliant, often controversial driver away from the sound and the fury of the racetrack.
Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Just over that rise and up this secluded country lane lives one of the world's great drivers. Darrell Walter.
and gentlemen, give a hand for D.W. Darrell Waltrip!
Hey, now, you know that boys around here. We're drinking that ice cold beer, I see. Looks like
Listen.
everything's going good.
Hey, if we're going to be in Nashville celebrating the Ally 400, we got to bring Nashville's own DW straight out of Franklin, Tennessee.
You know, one thing about the fairgrounds always told me when I first started racing here, they said, if you can win here, you can win anywhere. And guess what? They were right.
You won.
That racetrack, Harry Gant, I think in 1984, Harry Gant was over here, and he said, if they don't repave this racetrack, I'm never coming back. Well, they ain't repaved it yet. And he'll probably be back if we race here pretty soon. By the way, you're starting a cup team. You didn't call me. You got a car over there at Wilkesboro. You didn't call me.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the problem? What's the problem?
Well, we needed a guest for this show. We called you.
See, that's where I am these days. See, I'd check into a hotel and they'd say, are you here with the show? I'd say, no, ma'am, I am the show. So, I don't know if that's it's true tonight or not. But anyway, what's up, bud?
Hey, everything's good, DW. It's awesome to be here in Nashville. And we couldn't. When I think about Nashville and race cars and stock cars, I think about you. I know that you cut your teeth over at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Raced a lot over there, and we're very proud of your connection to the Speedway.
Yep.
Always seemed to champion the future of the track itself.
Yeah.
And so we're glad to have you here today. You heard the Jaws theme, right? And that's his nickname. So Cale Yarborough, 1978 gave you the nickname Jaws.
Yeah.
Because you like to talk a little bit.
No.
No.
That's
What's
not
the truth then?
No, we were at Darlington. And so, see, Jake and Herb Nabb Herb was Cale's crew chief, Jake was my crew chief, and they were big buddies. They played cards together all the time. But Cale didn't have no neck. His head sat on his shoulder, so he didn't have no neck. So that's why we called him No Neck. But anyway, they got into an argument about running into each other. And I don't think I'd run into Cale over once or twice, and it was an accident both times. But we were at Darlington, and we were racing for the lead, and we come off turn 2, and D.K. Aldridge is right out in the middle of the damn racetrack. And here we come. I come up on him, and I went to the inside. Cale went to the outside. Well, Darlington, if you know anything about South Carolina, it's nothing but sand. And so you get down in, I got down in that loose stuff. I got down in that sand. I got a little bit loose, and I come back up on the racetrack, and I slammed into Cale and wrecked both of us. Cost us both a win. So when the race is over with, and they asked Cale what happened, he said, "Old Jaws got me." I said, what is he talking about? And what's he mean, old Jaws got him? So anyway, we go to the next race. I think maybe a race or two went by. We go to Charlotte, and Humpy Wheeler's a promoter there. And Humpy, he never wants to miss an opportunity to promote something. So he sends a crew down to South Carolina to get a shark. So he gets a shark. He brings it up to the racetrack. He hooks it up on the back of a wrecker, and he sticks a chicken in its mouth and rode the thing around the racetrack in a parade lap.
Good heavens.
What the world?
Can't do that these days.
Yeah, no. Everybody was having a good time except me. I didn't think that was so funny myself. But by the way, what's this car out here?
I don't know. Hanging out.
There's a car out front out here? Race car out front?
Yeah.
Is there a race car out there?
Yeah, I think there's a race car out there. I saw one out there earlier. What's that color on that car?
I don't know. Why?
Why just one? I saw it look pink. It looked like pink. Is that it?
It's the Ally car, DW.
DW.
Don't knock it.
Oh,
They're a sponsor.
I just didn't know for sure what it was.
So Darrell, Cale called you Jaws, but you had the Cale scale.
Oh yeah, well, so after that, Cale and I are great friends now. I mean, he's one of my best friends.
Oh, sure.
But back in the day when we were racing each other, we weren't such good buddies. But so every race we'd go to after that, I would say, on the Cale scale, I'm going to give this an 8. And then the next week I said, now on the Cale scale, I'm going to give this a 7. And it just aggravated Cale to death. But let me tell you something about Cale Yarborough. 1980, I'm driving for Dyegard. I had just signed a new agreement with Dyegard for 3 more years. In May, Cale comes, he puts his arm around me and says, DW, I ain't told nobody knows this but you, but I'm leaving juniors at the end of the year. I said, you got to be kidding. That's like the company car. That's the best car in the sport. You're going to leave, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to drive for MC Anderson, but I know that Junior Johnson is dying to get you behind the wheel of his car. And I'm thinking, yes, it's exactly what I want to have. But then I got to, damn, I just signed a 3-year deal with Dyegard. So I had to figure out a way to get out of that deal, which I did. And by the way, in 1980, I had to pay Dyegard $300,000 to get out of that contract.
People moaned about that.
Yeah. $300,000 in 1980. That's about what? What would that be today? A couple million?
More than 300.
Couple million? But I guess what? So we went to the very first race at Daytona. It was the Bud Shootout, the Busch Clash, and I won it. And every race that year I won. I think I won 12 races that year out of the 28 or 29 they had. I made all that money back. The next year I won 12 more races. I doubled down. Now I'm doing good. What's happened?
They coming for you.
It's just
look.
That's the Cale scale on wheels.
Hey, I might be embellishing this just a little bit, but you don't have to arrest us. Give me a break.
It's just Friday night.
Friday night?
Friday night on Broadway. That's what that is.
I don't know. They got blue lights flash. Hey,
so Daryl,
hey, do y'all come down here all the time? You come down here a lot? Because a friend of mine, this is the first time I've been down here in ages, and a friend of mine said, you got to go downtown Nashville on a Friday or a Saturday night. You won't believe what you see. And I don't. I mean, look at all the people out here.
Yeah. It's like Vegas.
I'm jealous.
I'm telling you, I wonder if they're going to be at the race Sunday.
I hope, yeah.
Amen. Anyway, Cale and I became great friends, and we're buddies today. And you know, it's funny how it works, and he knows. You're a rival. His dad and I were great. We were big rivals.
Yeah.
And we weren't the best of friends. We were frenemies. You ever have a frenemy? Yeah. Friend sometime, enemy sometime. Yeah, well.
He said anyway, he married her.
So we were frenemies, and sometime Dale. So it's Christmas, and Dale always called me on Christmas. He always called me on Christmas. So me and my son-in-law were in there. We're putting together a dollhouse for one of my little girls for Christmas. And it's about 11 o'clock, and Dale hadn't called. And it's about 12 o'clock, and Dale hadn't called. I said, damn, I'm going to bed. So I see him in Daytona. It's February. I go up to him. I say, hey, buddy. I said, did you call me at Christmas this year? And he looked at me and he said, I don't have to call you every year.
I got a question.
That's the end of that story.
Speaking of Dad, so one of the most memorable moments between you and Dad was at Richmond in 1986. So you're trying to pass Dad. It's late in the race. You're trying to get underneath him over and over and over, and he's chopping you off, and there's a lot of contact. Finally, you get underneath him, and you're clear. You're going by him. Got the race won. Going into turn 3, Dad clips you into the right rear. And y'all both hit the fence hard.
It's a good thing we did, too.
It's over with. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing we both wrecked.
Both of you's crashed out. Now, I know that y'all hit the wall in turn 3.
Yeah.
And then the cameras, got to chase down the winner, which would be Kyle Petty. And they're moving around. They don't catch nothing else that's going on over there. But I noticed that when you got out of your car, you were not in turn 3 anymore. You were somewhere else.
I was on the front straightaway.
What did you do?
Well, Dale got his car cranked up, and then they had a caution, and Kyle Petty won the race, and Kyle Petty was almost a half a lap behind. That's how far behind the third place car was. Joe Ruttman, he lived down there in Frankfurt for a while. He wrecked, and people wrecking everywhere. But here comes Kyle Petty. He ain't going fast enough to wreck, and he drives right through the whole mess.
That's so wrong.
Drives
man.
through the whole mess.
That's so wrong.
He wins the damn race.
That ain't right.
God
But in
almighty.
the meantime, I finally get my old piece. I get it cranked up, and the wheels are all bent, and it's wobbling all over the place. And I go down the front straightaway, and I just turn as hard as I can and whack Dale right in the door.
I knew it.
What?
Yeah.
I knew it.
He
So
deserved it.
There's no
He
video.
deserved, let me tell you. No. Let me tell you. So here's what happened. So I took 4 tires, and Dale took 2. So he beat me out of the pits. So we're coming down the end of the race, and I'm driving for Junior Johnson. Mean old man. So I'm driving for Junior Johnson, and Junior comes on the radio, and he says, Darrell, pass him now. I said, okay. So I'm doing everything I know how to do, and it comes about 2 laps to go, Junior comes on the radio and said, Darrell, I said, pass that SOB now. Okay, Junior, I'm going to pass him now. So I go down in the first corner. I get that damn. I drop off in the dirt, and I bounce up into the track, and I get into Dale a little bit, and he gets a little bit loose, and I'm on my way. I'm gonna win me another race. I thought. About halfway down that back straightaway, if I had it to do over again, I would have just kept him out there. Made him stay out there, and I'd have just shoved him up a little bit, and I'd have won the race. But I was so proud of myself, and I knew Junior was going to be so happy. I'm passing Dale Earnhardt, and I'm going to take the lead. I'm going to win this race. And then he hooked me in the left rear and put me in the fence.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. That's what he did.
up until this moment right here, there's no video evidence of anything that happens after the crash. But I knew in my mind, when I saw pictures of your car, I'm like, when he's getting out of his car, he's not in turn 3 where they wrecked. What did he do? And why ain't nobody talking about that? Something happened. And you went and hit Dad, so y'all were both wrong.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
No.
Baby.
Nope.
I know that NASCAR thought so because
No,
both
they
of them-
found Dale. They didn't
both
find me.
of them-
Hold up.
No.
Hold up now.
No, they
Two
didn't.
wrongs.
Man,
No,
they
two
should have.
wrongs.
They should
They
have found him.
found Dale $5,000 for unnecessary roughness.
What is he, football?
I mean, that's what they did.
All
But anyway.
But we're talking
Look.
about what you did after, not what Dale
Yeah.
did. We know what Dale did.
I'm just glad that I finally know the truth.
Oh, no, I got that thing cranked up. I went down there and I rammed
knew it,
right into
boy.
him.
Yeah.
And everybody all the NASCAR guys up there going, yes. He deserved it.
Do
Anyway.
you want to know where your car is?
Where
That car from that race, I have it.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
Are you kidding? That race car?
that race car.
In the graveyard?
Where you
It's
got
in,
it?
it's in my graveyard.
Dude, how do you know this?
No, I didn't know that.
I mean, this is hurtful.
Did I give you a car?
I got the car you flipped down the back straightaway at
know.
Daytona.
I want it back.
Okay.
Yep. I don't want
Hey.
nowhere near that black car. I don't want anything near it.
You can have visitation rights anytime
Yeah.
you want, right?
Yeah, I want.
I don't know if everybody knows, but I got a race car graveyard.
Oh, he does.
And I got about 70 acres of woods with all these four-wheeler trails cut on it, and we just shoved these old race cars back in the woods. They're just wrecked, you know. They're not any good. But
It's
I
what
got,
rich rednecks do with their money.
That's okay. I've not paid one red cent for any one of those cars.
I'm just saying.
No, but let me. But wait, let me.
Hey.
No, okay, go ahead.
I'm walking around. I'm over at the Hall of Fame one day, and I'm walking around, and I'm at the loading dock, and there's Darrell Waltrip's number 17
Western Auto
Western
car.
Auto car that he flipped down the back straightaway at Daytona in the 400. When was that? Qualifying?
Yeah, in the July race.
Yeah, and so I'm like, damn, what are y'all doing with that? And they're like, you want it? And I said, I'll have a roll back up here today.
So anyway, that's sort of how it went, but not exactly how. So I called Dale and I said, I'm going to give you that car. He said, I ain't buying no more cars. I said, no. You can have it. I don't want it. I don't ever want to see it. Put it in the graveyard, do what you want to, but you don't have to pay me a dime for it. You mean you're going to give me that car? I said, you got that right. Go get it. And so that's how he got it.
All right. Somebody called me about that car from Richmond from 1980. This guy had it. Was it you?
You
How
call
am
him?
I supposed to believe that?
Hey, how did you call him?
You aren't that old. You're not that old.
Somebody called me about that
86,
car sitting on the
96,
ground.
so-
It was sitting on the ground in the backyard of somebody's house, and we got it. Yeah.
Well, I'll be darned.
Hey, you
You
want to
got-
buy it back?
Nope.
It ain't for sale.
No, I don't ever want to see that car. The car that I really don't want to ever see again is the silver. Remember the silver bullet?
Oh, God, yes.
The what?
Oh,
the silver?
God. You know, this is no lie. We were racing in the All-Star race in the Winston at Charlotte. And we have and it's a 10-lap shootout. Gordon's on pole. I'm outside pole because I run second. Dale was third. I don't remember who was fourth. Doesn't matter. So I knew if I got in front, I could win. So they come around, and I tried to anticipate it on throwing a flag, and I jumped to start. In the history of NASCAR, they've never thrown a caution for a bad start.
No.
But they did that time.
Yeah, that was the very first time they ever did that.
First time I ever did. So here I am now. They said, you do it again, you're going to the back. So I said, well, I guess I'm going to have to be a little more careful. So we come down, we get the green, and we go into turn one, and I'm up beside of Gordon, and I got a good car. I had a really good car. And we're going down the back straightaway, and the track's kind of rough, and the sparks are flying, you know, in this first lap of a restart. And I look off the corner of my eye, and I said, damn, there's somebody down there in the damn weeds. Somebody down there in the rough. I mean, I see sparks just a-flying. It was Earnhardt. And so we go in the third turn, and Gordon's a pretty smart driver. Gordon said, this ain't going to work. So he backed off. I go into the third turn. Here comes Dale about a mile over his head. Up the hill he comes, and bam, puts us both in the wall and takes us out. And that was in the silver car. I never hear him talk about that silver car very often. And I'm glad. I didn't like that car.
What if I told you it was out back here?
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
I got it in the graveyard. No, I'm
You
kidding.
got it in the graveyard.
1985
85?
All-Star race, Charlotte Murray Speedway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, settle a rumor that, you know, you cross the finish line, $200,000 paid to win that race. Biggest payday in any NASCAR race. You're driving for Junior Johnson, who's synonymous for breaking the law. He's been a moonshiner all his life. Your motor explodes just as you cross the finish line.
Oh, fishy.
I mean,
fishy.
I feel like
It's a little
something
fishy.
going on there.
No.
Little fishy.
Now, look, the motor did blow up.
Oh,
You
yeah.
blew it up.
I had nothing to do with it. Junior might have had something to do with it. I don't know.
How does Junior
But I don't know how it happened.
time him?
All I know is, so I used to stay at Junior's house all the time, and I go in the garage, and we're building this motor for the All-Star race. And he's got a grinder, and he's grinding the rods, and he's grinding the crankshaft, and he's grinding the pistons. He said, Durrell, this thing's going to run about 100 miles. That's going to be about it. I said, really? So what do you want me to do? He said, you ain't going to be able to practice. You're just going to have to start that race and hope this thing don't blow up before you get that checkered flag. And so that's what I did. But I didn't, look, the motor didn't disappear. It's not like he could make it just go away. Yeah. It had a hole in the side through a rod, and it was blown up. But they still checked it. I mean, they tore it down, they looked in it, and it was fine. It might have been a tad oversized, but it wasn't that bad. You know, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Marginal.
Wasn't the only one in the field.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's what I always liked about your dad. Your dad said, I know he's cheating because I'm cheating and I can't beat him.
Hey, DW, on that note, you know, if anybody in here listens to the download regularly, you know we love a good cheating story, right? I mean, and Darrell, you told some of the best. In fact, we put a whole new episode together of some of the best. We call it, ingenuity, clever, creativity. And you had some good ones, man.
Listen, I was not a rule breaker. I was a
rule
maker.
That's right.
So you had a rule book, and it said what you could do or what you couldn't do. It said what you could do, but it didn't say what you couldn't do. So we did a lot of work in the gray area. And so every year the rule book got a little bit thicker and a little bit thicker. But my favorite, I think one of my all-time favorite, I won't call it cheating, just creative engineering, was the buckshot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my
Tell
favorite.
that story.
I mean, so I learned this from Harry Hyde. Y'all know who Harry Hyde is? You see, Days of Thunder, Harry Hogg? Well, that's Harry Hyde. Well, Harry Hyde had these, what do you call it? You get the bags of pellets.
Lead pellets?
Lead pellets, yeah. Get these bags of lead pellets.
Lead shot?
Yeah, shot.
Yeah.
That's what it was, shot. And so we got the idea that if we put these shot in a frame rail of the car, which the frame rail is a 2x4. 2x4. Anyway, it's pretty big. And you fill this frame rail up with buckshot, and the car would weigh right. And then when the race started, if the driver knew what he was doing, he could find that little wrench and turn that little handle, and all that buckshot would fall out on the ground, and you'd be 50 pounds maybe, 50, 75, maybe 100. I don't know, could have been
That's a
200.
lot.
But anyway, it would, so all that buckshot would fall out on the ground. And I love this. So for a long time, Dick Beatty, y'all don't know Dick Beatty, he was a technical inspector. He would walk around the track every week. So one day we're at Martinsville, and I'm running. I said, I come up on Dick, and I said, hey, Dick, what are you doing? He said, got a problem. I said, what's the problem? He said, somebody, you see these pellets? And they were all down in the crack of the corner, and they were all everywhere, I said, damn, what are those? And he said, that's buckshot. He said, somebody is dropping buckshot out of their car, and I'm going to find out who it is. I said, okay, I would if I were you. You're the technical. That's your job, man. That's what you ought to be doing. So we go to a couple races, and we're at Bristol. And what you don't want to do to buckshot is get it wet. Because when you get it wet, it sticks together. So I'm in there, I'm cranking, and I got that thing all ready to go, and nothing happened, but I didn't know that. So about halfway through the race, I go in the third turn, I hit him, bam, bam, and I damn near spin out. And I go up and almost hit the wall, and I head straight down pit road. Well, just so happened Dave Marcus was on pit road. So I go down pit road, and I got damn buckshot going everywhere. And Beatty thinks it's Dave Marcus. He takes Dave Marcus' car apart. So then they said, no, it can't be Dave Marcus. It must have been DW's car. So they go get the car. So on a race car, you got a jack stop where you jack the car up. So that's where you let the buckshot out at. So when they went to check the car, they put the jack on the jack stop. And they jacked it up. They couldn't find it. Couldn't find it. Never could find it. Never could find it.
That's one of the best. That's one of the most legendary stories of creative engineering in the garage. We still talk about it today. I remember when I first started racing, we were putting lead shot in the frame rails of our cars because of your story. I was reading something about you this week, and it reminded me of a great moment in your career. Everybody remembers that you had your own car, and you ended up having to close your operation.
Yeah.
And had a few opportunities that didn't really work out. Steve Park gets injured driving my dad's Pennzoil car, and the first person my dad calls to come help drive that car while Steve rehabs is Daryl. And Daryl goes out and has some pretty incredible runs, leads some laps. And one of my favorite quotes from you in your career was, they were throwing dirt on my grave, and I climbed out.
Yeah. Well, look, money buys speed. I mean, that's a fact. That's just the way racing is. I ran out of money. And I couldn't get into the college fund for the girls, and my wife was all worried about that, and so I ran out of money. I didn't pay myself. I paid my bills. I paid all my bills. It wasn't like I tried to skip out on anything, but I didn't pay my bills. But I didn't have any money. And it was right when the small block Chevy, they went from the engine we had for 50 years to the brand new SB2, and I didn't have the money to upgrade to that engine package. So this guy named Tim Beverly, bless his heart, came along, and he wanted to buy a race team, and Rick put me with Tim, and I sold that race team to Tim. But yeah, it was tough. And then Dale calls, but what I didn't know, and you may not know this either, my brother was with Dale when he called me. So my brother Michael tells Dale, That's what my brother said. I don't know if it's true or not. But my brother Michael says he told Dale, you need to call DW. Dale said, are you crazy? He's not going to drive my car. He said, I believe if you call him and tell him you need him, he'll drive your car. So he did. And I did. And we had a great time. It was one of the best times I ever had driving a race car. Because Dale and Teresa and Stevie and I, and we spent a lot of time together. We went out together. We went to dinner together. We mended a lot of fences. So it really was a great time. And I have that car in my dealership out in Franklin at the Honda store. It's the car that I drove is on the floor out there just like I drove it.
Damn.
Wow.
So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got that car. My brother got it for me. And so anyway, Dale and I go way back. Dale and I go back to when he was driving on dirt tracks. And if you want to see a sight, you ought to see Dale Earnhardt coming down Robert G's driveway with a trophy under one arm and a fifth of Jack Daniels in the other arm. And damn pants up to about his knees and a pair of hush puppies on. And he'd been down to somewhere, I don't know, that night, and he won that race. You know how he won it? He turned Butch Lindley over. They were coming to the line, white flag, and Dale got into Butch and put Butch up onto the fence. Butch turned over, and Dale won the race. Doesn't matter how you do it, you just do it, you know? And so some of the best memories I have, Dale wanted to drive one of my cars. And I said, man, I had a brand new car, brand new late model sportsman car that needed some work on it. It wasn't finished and needed some work. And Dale said, let me finish it. I'll get my boys over here and we'll finish it. And when we get it finished, we'll take it to Nashville. I said, all right, I'm okay with that. So he gets the car, him and his boys, Big Cruz, and a whole bunch of them, they all work on the car, and they get it all put together, and he brings it to Nashville. It's a 100-lap feature. From the time they dropped the green flag to the time he left, he hit every car in the field.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he ran over every car in the field. So, and he didn't win the race, he brought back a damn tore-up race car. So on Monday morning, I get to, my phone is ringing off the hook. And this guy says, if you ever let him come over here and drive a car of yours again, we'll whip your ass. I said, what happened? So they start telling me all the things that he did. So anyway, Dale and I were great friends. We were the best of buddies up till, I don't know, what
86,
86.
Richmond.
Probably, yeah, somewhere along in there. That was a little stressful. But anyway, Dale and I were great friends, and Dale Jr. and I have been great friends, and
I
Kelly
would say,
and
I remember we were great friends, but I remember one race I did piss you off.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
What'd I do?
You spun me out. So we're at Martinsville.
Oh, I never spun anybody out. What are you talking about?
We were at Martinsville, and I caught Daryl. He's driving a '66 Kmart car, and I think I'm a rookie. And I catch Daryl. Dad's in the race, and so it must have been 2000. So, but I catch you, and I bumped you in 1 and 2, and in 3 and 4, you sent me around.
Well, how many laps down were you?
And I was like,
No, he had already hit everything but the pace car.
I hit all that stuff after this.
After that? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I remember that time your dad said, you've hit everything else. Go up there and hit that damn pace car. Anyway, yeah.
So wait, you spun Dale? You wrecked Dale?
That was a privilege for me to get run over by DW.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Hell yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
If you ain't gonna outrun them, at least get run over by them.
Okay. All right.
The legend.
Did he apologize?
Oh no.
Do you want to now?
I apologize already. Don't ever do that again.
I think he spun me out, then flipped me off.
Hey, you'll like this. We had an idea. Dale Jr. has an idea for a podcast, and that's where he calls up people that wrecked him and asks them if they're ready to apologize. And he's got a list. All you guys, drivers.
We were even going to call people that didn't wreck me. Say, man, remember, you wrecked me. When? Just apologize.
Hey, Jason Keller, Pikes Peak, 99.
You know what's so funny? And it really is funny. When you're in the heat of the battle, when you're racing every week and somebody does something to you, man, you just can't let go of it.
No.
But as soon as you retire and you're out of the sport a little while, you and that guy become best friends in the world. I mean, you all the respect that you wanted him to give you or that he wanted you to give him, that's all in the past. And you become great friends. Dale and I were that way. We were great friends.
But here's what I don't understand about Dale Earnhardt. Answer it.
Yeah.
Settle this for us. How these days, if somebody in the Ally 400 this weekend hits everybody in the car, he is chastised. He is going to be ridiculed. People are going to roast him. How is it Dale Earnhardt can hit everybody that you said he hits and everybody loves him?
Well, Dale was you see all these people in here? Well, he was one of them.
He had the 5th of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, he was one of them.
Yeah.
And so
Thank
you got to realize something. Today, in today's racing world, you can't get away with anything. They got a camera everywhere. They got a reporter everywhere. They got somebody in your face all the time. So a driver doesn't have the luxury that we had. We could wreck a guy one week, and we might not have to even see him for about a month. We'd park and you're down there and you're down there, and you'd avoid each other. And you just can't do that anymore. The media won't let you. And it's great stories. Ross Chastain wrecks a couple of people here and there, and first thing you know, you got people up in your face, So, but that's just how it goes.
Did you think he was right in saying he was sorry and that everybody that owes him back, they're good, that they can pay him back? Did you like that, or did you wish he'd have stood his ground?
Well, that's a good question. There were some people. There's a couple of people I just could not forgive.
Yeah.
One of them drove the 2-car. That's one of them. But anyway.
Well, Darrell.
Yeah.
We we know you love the fairgrounds, and I love the fairgrounds too. But they got racing this weekend. It's a speedway.
Yeah.
I know you're excited that NASCAR is back in this city.
Yeah.
We brought our banquet here to be able to celebrate our champion, and now we have our racing product here connected to the city of Nashville. I know that's got to be exciting for you. And you're going to come out to the racetrack this weekend, see some action?
Yeah, for those of you that don't know who Bruton Smith was SMI. They own a lot of racetrack. His son Marcus runs that company, and Bruton passed away this past week. And so I'm going to give the invocation on Sunday in honor of Bruton Smith. So just FYI, Bruton Smith did more for people in this room than any other person ever even thought about doing. He loved the fans. He always told me, he said, look, let NASCAR worry about the race. They're the ones that have to worry about the cars and the inspection and all. I got to worry about the fans. I got to get people in here. And that was his philosophy. And he lived and died by that. So great guy. Loved him. He was one of my best friends forever.
Thank you.
Here.
Well, Darrell, it's been a lot of fun tonight talking racing. We can't wait to see you at the races this weekend. Thanks for coming over, giving us some stories. Glad you finally told me what happened off camera in 1986.
Hey, I got to tell y'all something. Blake's upstairs. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's upstairs. I ain't lying, isn't he? He was up there.
I saw him up there.
Yeah.
He
standing up there.
He ain't saying much.
He didn't say a word.
Yeah.
I tried to get him to talk to me. He wouldn't do it.
He looked a little stiff.
He's stiff. He looks stiff.
That
He looks
guy.
nervous.
Yeah.
Maybe Gwen's in the building somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's been fun. And this weekend will be a great race. The trucks are racing now. Xfinity cars tomorrow, and then the Cup cars on Sunday. It's going to be a little warm out there, but I think by the time the race gets going, the sun will go down. It'll be a great show.
All right, buddy. Well, everybody,
All right,
Darrell
all right.
Waltrip.
Here you go.
The legend, Hall of Famer, champion.
Love him. Love him. He left his Diet Coke, though.
Hey.
Bet it's spiked. You want some?
I'm sure he can get. I'm good. I'm sure he can get another Diet Coke.
Yeah, he can do it.
Yeah.
Darrell Waltrip is a treasure, everybody, and he's Nashville's own. And it was we've had him on the Dale Jr. Download before, but like you just can't get enough at DW. Am I right? So very grateful for Daryl. Listen, what we're gonna do tonight. We're going to do an Ask Junior segment. Like, if you've watched our podcast or checked our YouTube channel, we'll do that. Well, we're going to do it live. So be thinking of your questions. If you want to ask Dale something, this is a chance. Listen, we've never done this when people are drinking. Who knows what's going to happen?
I think we ought to introduce a friend of ours.
We should, yes.
Who's going to help us with the Ask Junior. You guys might know his name, Bernard Pollard, NFL great.
Boy, there he is.
Bernard, it's good to see you.
Oh, let's turn it. We got to get the mic turned on.
Get that mic on. So Bernard's going to help us out. He's a great partner with Ally as well. We worked together on some things over the last couple of years.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Bernard,
sir.
what's up, buddy?
Well, man, what's up, baby?
Look at you. Looking good.
So
I tell you what.
Is it right that Bernard's going to be moving around the room for our Ask Junior segment?
Yeah. So how should we do this? Like, should we? I tell you what. If you be thinking of your questions, I'm going to give you another Dale Jr. story if you want. It's going to take a minute, and then meanwhile, be thinking. And if you want to raise your hand, I mean, maybe Dale.
All right, we got a little.
What we got here?
I can get around, so just tell me where I
can
need
get
to go.
around.
Yeah.
He'll knock you over. Well, you knock him over.
Somebody gonna get knocked over.
That's right. Don't make it mad. I'm going to tell you another quick story real quick, and then we're going to get that Ask Junior. Listen, a lot of times people ask me something. They say, what is it about Dale that makes him fun to work for? And I tell them every time. It's his brutal honesty. Although sometimes that can come back to bite you. And I'll tell you that, like, sometimes you just don't know what he's going to say. We were at an appearance in 2008.
Thank you.
I love this. It was a perfect moment if you want to embody Dale Jr. We were at an appearance in 2008. PepsiCo, our sponsor at the time, sent us out there. I don't remember. It was in the Midwest somewhere. It was a retailer for PepsiCo. And Dale Jr. went up and he did an appearance in front of like this. Large room, big audience. He was going to do an onstage Q&A, right? And I'm off to the side of the stage, and Dale says, I hear this. He's telling a story.
The audience was all Costco employees.
Well, I was getting that.
Right? Okay, I just didn't know.
Yeah, I was getting there.
If you were going to tell the punchline first.
You just did it.
All right. Yeah.
So Dale Jr.'s up there telling a story about how he uses his high school buddy's Costco card so that, in his words, he doesn't have to pay the outrageous annual fee.
Yeah.
And what you now know that he just told you is that this was at a Costco convention with Costco employees, and the moderator was the Costco CEO.
That was a problem.
That was the problem.
Well, I was living in a double-wide trailer, and I had a roommate, and I was working at the dealership changing oil. This was before I got to driving race cars. Me and him go to this Costco to apply, and it's ridiculous. And I was like, well, I'll just be your spouse, because then I'll get a free card. So that's a trick if you haven't tried it. So if you got a friend, you're trying to get you a membership at the Costco, you can be the spouse. And so that's the way we did it. And so I got a free membership.
There you go.
And they were not proud when I told them.
They weren't.
I didn't know I was standing there talking to Costco people. You could have told me that.
I did tell you that. He
He
doesn't listen. That's what I'm trying to get at.
We
went through this.
I made a Pepsi appearance. How am I supposed to know these are Costco people?
Because we told you. He knew it, but yet he still told the story. Hey, that reminds me of the time you got booed at the Walmart convention.
I was at a Walmart. I was at a Hellman's appearance. Hellman's. Everybody in the room worked for Walmart. I didn't know that. And I started telling a story about me and my wife shopping on Amazon, and everybody in the room started booing. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Who don't like Amazon?
My point, hey, that's what we love about him. If he's going to say it, like if you like the honesty and you like the authenticity, you get what you get. That's what's going to happen sometimes. Bernard, we're handing it to you, my man. If these people got questions for Junior, if they're brave enough, let's ask them.
All right, so here we go. So what's your name?
My name is Dean.
And where are you from?
Originally from Cleveland, Ohio, but live in Nashville.
All right.
Okay, so here we go. So ask your question.
Yes, sir. So You guys talked about my boy Ross Chastain a little bit, but I just wanted to get an opinion from my man Junior. What do you think of my guy? So I know he's ruffled some feathers,
Yeah,
but
so Ross Chastain, when he first got into racing, he obviously lived down in Florida. If you know his story, his family farms watermelons, and he worked his ass off on that farm. Great kid. He came up to North Carolina to start racing in the truck series, and he rented from me across the street from my house. I had a rental property, and I was his landlord for like years. And so I know Ross really, really well. Well, we have he gets in the Xfinity Series, and I have cars that race in the Xfinity Series, and he would run into them. And I was like, Ross, I really wish you wouldn't hit my cars. You can hit all the other cars out there, but I don't really like it when you hit my cars. But I talked to him this week. I called him on the phone. We were just getting prepared for this weekend, calling some drivers, seeing what they're doing. And he said, man, what do you think I ought to do to fit in with these guys? And I said, what? What do you want to do? Be their buddy? I was like, why are you worried about fitting in with them? I was like, they're not going to, when it comes down to it, they're not going to have your back. Those drivers ain't going to, do anything for you. If they can move you out of the way, they're going to move you out of the way. That's not what you need to worry about. I said, don't change a thing. Don't change nothing about the way you're driving. I said that selfishly because I like when they run into each other. When I'm watching it, I like it. All the things that happened at St. Louis, him running into people, I like that. All the funny things that Denny Hamlin was doing, I thought that was hilarious. So the more of that, the better for me and for us, right, watching. But I told Ross, I was like, listen, your aggression reminds me of the way these guys drove in the 80s. We really need as much of that as we can get. We got to have aggressive guys, nice guys, mean guys, the hero, the villain. We need all of those different personalities. Don't fit in. Don't mesh in. Don't blend in. I was like, don't change nothing. And quit apologizing because he don't even mean it. I was like, you pour it on way too thick for it to be believable, so you might as well just quit doing that. But we had a good laugh, and I think he can refine some things that he wants to get better at, but otherwise I think he just needs to keep on charging.
Good stuff.
Great question.
appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Hey, and by the way, I like this what we've got for him. And if you got a question, make your way to Bernard rather than him having to.
No. I can get around, man.
I know
walk.
you can, but this will work. All right, here we go.
So what's your name?
My name's Ashley.
And where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
All right.
Yeah. So my question is, what's your favorite memory at Chicagoland Speedway?
Winning?
Yeah.
So,
2005.
yeah. Man, we ran okay in that race at Chicago that year, and I had Steve Mill as my crew chief. I was going through a little bit of a rough patch because I'd split up with the Uries, which was a big mistake. I'm part of that decision, which I regret. Probably the biggest regret I have in my racing career is when I broke with the Uries in 2004. So I went through a couple different crew chiefs, but I had Steve Mill as my crew chief in that race. And Steve Mill was the crew chief for Mark Martin forever. He worked with the Petty Enterprise team back in the 70s. This guy was a legend. So I was so pumped to have him as my crew chief. At the end of that race, we took 2 tires. Only a couple other guys took 2 tires. I jumped in front of those guys as fast as I could. I think a couple actually stayed out on old tires. I jumped out there and got as big a lead as I could. Matt Kenseth almost run me down on 4 tires, but we got a win. We had a horrible year, but that one win, made everything okay. Gave us all a chance to celebrate. And I was glad. Even today, I talked to Shane Mill, which is Steve's son, and I'm so proud of that one win with that legendary crew chief that I don't know what would happen otherwise. But I think the track's great. I think it's rough and abrasive. The guys, run all over the place there. I would love it if we went back. I know there's talk about a street course race in Chicago that might be getting announced soon. I don't really know any more than that. It's more than likely probably going to happen. But Chicagoland was a fun racetrack. Yep. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Here we go. So I moved around. I told you
Where
I'm
did
right
Bernard go?
directly
Where
in
did
front
he
of
go?
you.
There he is. All right.
Right here. Here we go. So what's your name?
Jake,
And where are you from?
Michigan.
Nice.
All right. Hey.
Oh, come on. Give Jake a break.
Here you go. Go ahead.
All right. So Dale, I have a. So Dale, my question is: I remember when you won 2 races at MIS back in 2008 and 2012. Which one, if you could pick just one of those races, which one would be your favorite? The 08 where you won with little fuel and you got lucky with a green and with a white flag on the last lap, or the 2012 one that broke a winless streak?
Yeah, the 2012 win was pretty special because we had a it was a brand new paved Michigan International Speedway, and we were going 220 mile an hour into turn 1. In practice, our average laps were 204, 201. In race trim, we were flying around that racetrack. And we were talking about cheating up here earlier. We had a little something on that car.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, I didn't know this.
Yeah, so your race car will go faster if you take the Breerenhausen and twist it this way. You guys might watch the cars on TV, and when they go down the racetrack kind of skewed, that's because the Breerenhausen's crooked in the car. And the more you can do that, and the more air you get on the right side of the car, and the better the car handles, the faster it goes. And we were just starting to figure that stuff out. And so we had a rear sway bar that was actually, as the car would squat, would push the left rear forward. And so we had we would loosen up the mounts on the left side of the rear end housing so it could move. And so when the car would squat at speed, it'd shift that rear end housing forward, and we would fly. Now, we weren't the only ones in the field with that. Our teammates had it. Maybe a couple other cars did. But we had it figured out. Me and Letarte were really, really on top of that stuff, and that car was just fast all day long. We spanked them. I mean, it was nothing to it. I think we won by 6 seconds over Stewart. The other win was great, but winning with Steve there was a fun deal. Yes, sir.
That's nice. Hold on. Did you go to Georgia Southern? You did? Got it, baby. Right on. All right.
All right, here we go. We're still in front of you. What's your name?
Ravi.
All right. Where you from?
Toronto.
Nice.
Dale, Junior, who's your pick to win the championship? And hopefully it's a Hendrick driver.
Okay. Well, the thing about this new next gen car, man, is it's hit or miss for everybody. Every week, you go to the racetrack, you try to think that who's going to run good, and I never really can figure out like who's got the pace. The only team that really is fast every single week is Trackhouse. And the only thing that worries me about Trackhouse is the experience behind the wheel. Those guys are relatively inexperienced. Ross, can he contain his composure in those high pressure moments that he's going to face in the playoffs? Can he not be mistake prone? We don't know. We've never seen him in a situation when he's had the chance to try to win a championship. I think Daniel might be better suited to try to win a championship than Ross because he's won one in the Xfinity Series and he's a little more weathered, got a little more history and experience. But that team right now has the most speed. They were great in practice today. And I don't think that anybody's going to find a lot to actually catch them. But there may be some guys that got some really good parts that are just sitting on the shelf. So the way it works is all your good stuff or some of the stuff that maybe you think NASCAR might want to take and keep, you put that on the shelf to the playoffs because you don't want them to take it until, you don't want to take it now and you won't have it when you need it. So at least that's the way it used to work. We'd always have some good, not cheated up, but some borderline parts sitting in the shelf ready for the playoff races, especially those elimination races. That's when the cars really, really get tricked out, is that last chance to advance yourself in the next round of playoffs. So you don't know who might just pop up and have speed in the playoffs, and more than likely there's a lot of guys making a lot of speed, but it's all sitting on the shelf for now. Yes,
here
sir.
we go. We're to your slight right a little bit. Okay, what's your name?
Austin.
Where you from?
We're from Minnesota.
Nice.
Minnesota.
We got people from all
Minnesota?
across the country coming out here.
That's crazy. Good for
All
you.
right. So, Dale, I'm a Chase Elliott guy. Yeah. And last year, he was pretty critical of Nashville Superspeedway.
Yeah.
Do you expect the racing to be any different this year? Have they done anything different with the track to try to improve the racing?
Well, my personal opinion was that the racing last year was great. And they applied resin to the racetrack, which is it helps with tire wear, which they had very, very serious tire wear in the tire test, so they had to do something. But they put this resin down, and it adds a little grip, and we had guys in practice today running 3 different lanes. And that's usually in practice, they don't get the track very wide. That happens in the race. But for the track to widen out in practice like it did today, that's a good thing for us as fans to watch, because when you're a driver and you only got one groove, you got to follow the guy in front of you. If you get out of that groove, you're slower. You can't pass the guy. That's not fun. And before they put the resin on the speedway here in Nashville, it was a bottom groove racetrack. There was no second groove, no third groove. You ran on the bottom, and that was it. So that resin really helped last year, kind of widen the groove. We had guys running up against the wall in the corners. I think we'll see a little bit more of that this year. I think they had speed in practice. All the Hendrick cars were in the top 10. So I think they'll probably have a good day. You'll just have to see. Yeah. I know that Larson was a little critical about the track today. That was before practice, and he said a few things after practice, but we'll have to see.
Here we go. We still here to your right a little bit. Now, here we go. So this is going to be interesting. What's your name?
Sarah.
Where are you from?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond.
Yeah.
Go ahead and ask your question.
Well, first off, raise hell, praise Dale.
Raise hell, praise Dale. All right.
Next question. I'm getting married. Can I just get a picture with you?
Of course. Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey! She's taking it, right?
Yes, she's taking it.
I think we're about to see our proposal.
Thank you. She's already been proposed to, Mike. But I still think they need a best man, right? They might not have that figured out.
Here we go. We moving it back. Here we go. What's your name?
Mitch Duncombe.
And where you from?
I'm also from Richmond, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and ask your question.
I'm gonna throw it back a little bit. Ask a question, kind of on the behalf of your dad and the greatest NASCAR driver to ever walk the planet, Dale Earnhardt. But like I said, Dale, I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and I was born February 23rd, 1986. And I was born at 8 o'clock a.m. My dad still went to the race when DW got fucked. But
oh my Lord.
But anyway, I just on the behalf of your dad, I'm a huge Bill Elliott fan, and I want to know who was your dad's greatest rival other than DW and Bill Elliott?
Definitely Jeff Bodine.
Yeah.
They could not get along, and it was fierce. Now, so Dad and Bill would butt heads, but there was always a level of respect. Dad knew Bill worked on his own cars. They had that family team down in Dawsonville, and Dad respected the hell out of that. But him and Jeff Bodine just could not get along. And it was tough, man. My grandfather on my mom's side, right? So I got racing on both sides. I got the Earnhardts, and then I got the G family, which was my mom. The G's are all fabricators. They did body work in racing. Robert G. Jr., my uncle, works at Junior Motorsports still. And so, anyways, my grandfather, Robert G., worked on the 5 car that Jeff Bodine drove. And so I would go to my granddaddy's house and see, Levi Garrett and Jeff Bodine and all this stuff. And then I'd come home and Dad would be like, "What the hell are you doing over there?" And anyways, it was a tough time because Dad would wreck Jeff, and hell, Jeff's driving my granddaddy's race car. I'm like, I don't know what to do. It was tough. It was tough there for a while, but that when they had Days of Thunder, right? They made the movie Days of Thunder. Most of us probably seen that, and they had the rental car scene where they're banging into each other and had to go to the meeting with NASCAR and say settle down. That was Dad and Jeff Bodine. That's where that story came from. That's depicted in Days of Thunder. So that was probably the toughest one. They never got right. They never really got it fixed and got well with each other. Yeah.
Here we go. So we moved it back a little bit. What's your name?
Colin.
Where you from?
I'm from Florida.
Go ahead.
I recently started racing this year at my local short track.
Nice.
I just want to know if there was one piece of advice you can give me, what would that be?
Well, I think the one thing that it took me a long time to learn is that you can't make your car faster if you're fixing it all the time. So when I raced my first year in street stock, I was in the junkyard underneath cars getting new ball joints and uppers and lowers and all kinds of shit because I'd wrecked all the time. Every week I was pulling the frame straight, having to get new parts. We had a junkyard down the street that we put on the deck lid just to be able to get the parts, man. I spent more time under cars in that junkyard that year than driving my race car. But that's great advice, and it's easy to say, but you can't make your car faster if you're fixing it. If you got to go home and put on a new right front suspension or fix the frame, you're not getting faster. You're just trying to get back to the track. So the more you can, you might have to be a little. It ain't really about trying to get your car fast that first year, anyways. You're still learning how to drive. So learn how to drive. Don't even buy speed. Don't try to spend a ton of money on your car. Figure out what you're doing as a driver before you really put that investment in the car itself. And just try not to wreck it. Just try to keep going to the racetrack, learning, changing parts, changing springs, stuff like that, so you can understand this is what that does, this is how that feels. And eventually, once you feel like, okay, I'm good, I got this understood, that's when you can really start spending a little bit of money on your race car. Yes, sir.
Here we go. So we move back. What's your name?
Cody Collette.
Where you from?
Hickman County, Tennessee.
All right, go ahead.
My question is to you, what all went into bringing North Wilkesboro back to life this year? And also, what is your thought on them putting dirt on it at the end of the year?
That's a great question, man. What all went into bringing Wilkesboro back? They're going to actually pull the asphalt up. They ain't going to put dirt on it. They're going to dig down and get to the original dirt where that track started. They might, they might have to bring some little bit of dirt in, but I don't know many people in here know what iRacing is, but it's a simulation game that a lot of friends of mine play on iRacing.
Bernard knows.
Bernard is a big believer in iRacing.
Yeah, he does.
And so I didn't think the track would ever come back, and so I asked iRacing to go scan it so we could put it in the game. And I said, if it's never coming back, at least it's in decent enough shape to do that. Well, we had to clean it up, so I went out there with some friends, and we weed-eated the whole damn track. And it took us all day long. It was cold and freezing and raining, but we went out there and worked our tail off to get the track to where they could scan it. And all of that effort started a bit of a community, a little bit of a community gathering and a support for what the place could be. And so the government got involved and local counties, and everybody really got behind bringing it back. And so it'll be a racetrack, but it'll also be a place where they can have music festivals and all types of things. That it'll be a great property, really, for the community, not just a racetrack. It'll be somewhere they can gather and have all kinds of great expos and so forth. So that'll be good. North Wilkesboro will need it. There's a lot of people up there looking for stuff to do. So I do want racing to succeed there, though. So there's a big push for me to be a part of that. But I got no financial involvement, no skin in the game. I get nothing out of it other than just I love it, love to see it.
That's awesome. Here we go. So what's your name?
Stephanie.
Where you from?
Texas.
Okay.
Everybody loves Texas. Texas always gets the claps.
Dale, my favorite part of the download is when you tell stories about Amy, and I'm a newlywed, so can you tell us your best marriage tip?
Oh my gosh.
What?
My best
Did you
marriage
listen
tip?
to nothing I said earlier tonight?
So Amy's from Texas, Victoria, Texas. That's where Stone Cold Steve Austin's from. Former guest of the download.
That's right.
My biggest, I'll tell you what, I just learned something. Me and Amy, we got two little girls. One is 1.5 and one's 4 years old. Beautiful. We love them to death. But what that did was literally Amy has been 100% full mom, right? And I've been working with her and trying to help. We are wrapped up in our kids, and which is great. Running every which way. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you got kids. So, but this, like a week ago, we went somewhere together. We ain't done this in 4 years. Me and her took a little trip, and by ourselves. We actually were going to take some friends. Y'all know Tim Duggar, country music singer? Tim and Tara, his wife, we were going to go on this trip. Tara had a little injury to her leg, and they couldn't go, so me and Amy go by ourselves for a week. And it was the greatest damn trip ever. And I mean, I love my wife, but I fell in love with her all over again. And I guess my advice is, you know, those nights out and those date nights, they're great. They're not really getting you away from your life, your profession, your kids. They're great. But, man, if you can, like, take that 2 days, that 2 nights, 3 nights, and go somewhere. Get out of town. And you know, leave the kids with somebody that'll take care of them. Man, it did a world for me and her. And we needed it and didn't even know it. And I told her today, actually. I saw her. She posted a picture sent me a picture. And I said, man, I don't know what it is, but you're more beautiful somehow. You got more beautiful. I don't know how that's possible.
Oh, look at oh, come on.
I know.
Now.
Hey, y'all get me talking about my wife. I ain't going to stop. But that's the key. Just make a little time. That's all. Just make a little time. Put a little, you know, get away and enjoy being together again, because it's still in there. You know, when you're working with your kids all the time, your focus is on them, and you kind of don't, you know. Is that good advice? You're married. You let me know.
I'm married. I got kids. That's great advice. You did text us. I was surprised how much you were texting us during your vacation, though. Usually.
What the hell, Mike? You're ruining the whole vibe.
No.
I had this great story.
Don't get me in trouble. Stop. No, I was just saying. I thought it was cool. Like I didn't even know what time it was over there. Like you're texting, just checking it. Listen, Dale did the coolest thing. We're all on the weekend. He goes, hey, I just want to see a wellness check.
I sent a text to him and my sister. I said, and Tony Mayoff on my team. I was like, wellness check. Wellness check. I ain't heard from anybody in a couple of days, just making sure everybody's okay.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. We're around each other all the time. You know, you don't hear from them a couple of days, you worry about them. Yeah, that's family love. That's what that is.
That's awesome, man. So here we go. So what's your name?
Sean.
Where you from?
Hebron, Kentucky, where the Cincinnati airport is in Kentucky. All right. Mike, thanks for the beer earlier.
Hey, got him a beer.
Yeah. You're welcome. I owe a couple beers to. Yeah. Hey, hold up. That's a good point. Where's my waitress? No, hold on. No, you're not my waitress. Hey, yes, I see it. We'll find her. See me after the show. Go ahead.
All right, Dale, I was wondering if you still collect old photos from your dad, because I got one from the '97 Brickyard that I'm the only one that has.
Yeah, I did. So I got into my genealogy, and the reason why was because got my dad. I know him, and then Ralph Earnhardt, and I know him. But beyond Ralph, I didn't know nothing about his dad. And so Ralph actually passed away before I was born. So, I mean, I didn't know anything about my great-grandfather and or anything past that. But anyways, I worked really hard to figure out all that information. And what that did while I was trying to dig all that up was make me really curious about my dad. And I needed to see pictures of him when he was not only young and a teenager or a kid, but, as a 20-year-old, 25, 30-year-old, and pictures of him in the 60s and 70s. And so they're hard to find, but over the years, it's kind of been a fun game trying to dig up stuff that I've never seen of Dad, pictures I've never seen of him. And now I've got this giant catalog with thousands of pictures of him that are really rare photos, to be honest with you. Anything from probably like 87 forward, it's all accessible. It's either online or it's easy to get. But some of that older stuff I got a picture of Dad when he's like 4 years old, sitting in the back of a car. Then he's got the camera. He took a picture of himself accidentally because he was holding the camera backwards. And so there's a picture of him taking a fucking selfie. I mean, yeah, he's like 4 years old. This is 1956. And so I got this. I just got all kinds of rare pictures like that are pretty important to me. And I don't know. I just think it's cool. Anything you can learn about your family history and all. Earnhardt's came from a small town in Germany called Ilversheim. I went there and drank a beer on my 40th birthday. That was cool. That's where I asked Amy to marry me, was in that town at the church there. And so I'm all into that history.
That's awesome. So here we go.
Yeah.
So what's your name?
Hunter.
Where you from?
Hickman County, Tennessee.
Nice.
So, whenever your dad was still alive and racing, he obviously had the sport on his shoulders. He carried it for so long. And then at Daytona, when he lost his life, that load immediately switched to you. And you had to carry it from then on out, and in many ways, you're still carrying it now through the media side and everything. So I'm just wondering, and I'm pretty sure everyone else in here is, how the hell do you manage it still?
I think that, you know, I always looked at the Earnhardt name as a gift to take care of and to a legacy to build on. I knew I was never going to really do the things that Dad did, win the number of races and championships. I just wanted to add to it, right? You had the thing, you know, they talked about Ralph Earnhardt, my dad's father and my grandfather, and how much he did in racing, then Dad and all the things that he did. I just wanted to add to it, to be like another chapter of that story. And I always felt, too, that I didn't want to embarrass it. You know, and I think that always kept me on the right path, is trying not to screw it up. And so I had some good people around me, Mike Helton and a couple other people. You might recognize Mike, the name, but a lot of the drivers would put their arm around me and ask me if I was okay, or lead me in a certain direction with certain things. So it was a community that was supporting me all the time in those early days. But and then Mike, you know, guys like Mike, my team, Kelly, a lot of great people helping you move forward and helping you make sure you make the right decisions and putting you in a good situation. It was really, that's all you can do. Got to keep going, man. You got to keep going, right?
Hey, Bernard, maybe 2 or 3 more?
We're going one more right here. This is the last one right here. Sharp right.
Oh, look at Sam
What's
Bear,
your
y'all.
name?
Whoa,
Dale?
Sam
Come
Bear.
in here. What up?
It's our
What's
driver
up?
for Junior Motorsports.
Hey, my question is, who is your favorite Junior Motorsports driver?
I knew it right there. Oh my gosh. Right now it's you. You came out here to join us tonight.
Hey,
You're the
Sam.
only one, right? There's no other Junior Motorsports drivers here, right?
Sam, we got a question for you. What are you going to do to Ty Gibbs?
Yeah!
Oh, no, man.
Turn
I
it
guess
around.
y'all have to wait and see. Y'all have to wait and see.
We can wait to see. Sam's a great kid, drives our #1 Junior Motorsports car. Sam, thanks for coming out tonight. We didn't ask Sam to come out here. I got 4 drivers. He's only one.
That's right.
That says something. He's a great kid. How old are you? Sam, you 19?
What's that?
How old are you?
18.
18.
18 years old.
18 years old.
What were y'all doing at 18?
Well, I know
All of you.
I wasn't doing anything good. I was up to no good when I was 18.
That's awesome. Sam, you got a good car this week? So you got a good, you going to predict what we got for tomorrow?
I think a Junior Motorsports all in the top 5 is something that I
There
think
we
is
go.
going to happen.
That's the goal.
That's
All
for
right.
sure.
Yeah. Hey, Bernard, are you going to go out to the racetrack?
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely be out there.
You'll be out there?
Oh,
Are you
yes.
working?
Am I working?
Yeah.
I'm working and watching.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Right on. So is that it? Is that Sam?
That's
We're
it.
ending with Sam?
Wrapping it up.
We're ending with Sam.
Nice
That's
one.
the end of the Ask Junior segment, Mike.
That is good. And by the way, everybody, a round of applause for Bernard Pollard.
Thank you, Bernard.
Oh, my God. Hey. Follow that man on social media. Yes, follow that man on social media. Pro football player, but boy, did he get bit by the NASCAR bug. He is loving it. Yeah, I like it. Listen, thank you all for asking questions. There might have been some questions up top, but I don't think we can get to them. I tell you, we'll hang out. Also, I know I owe a couple people beers. Oh, did you get them? You get them already? Oh, good. I don't know. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave you with the last Dale Jr. story. Are you ready?
Oh, goodness.
And this we're going to send you home with. a lot of times people will ask me, what is it, when did you know that, working for Dale, was going to be the thing that you were going to kind of put your stake in the ground in? And I'll tell you, I know the day it was. It was in Fontana, California in 2004. Who has seen the movie Herbie Fully Loaded?
Oh, my God.
Who's seen Herbie Fully Loaded? Lindsay Lohan, you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so if you saw that movie, you also saw Dale Jarrett in the movie, right? That was supposed to be Dale Jr. It wasn't supposed to be Dale Jarrett.
Yeah.
Dale Jr. was supposed to be in the movie. On Friday, after cut practice, they moved their set. All the production people moved into the garage for an hour, and they were going to shoot those garage scenes, right? And the director called for Dale Jr. to come do his part. He had lines. Dale Jr. said, I'm not going. I know, what? That's what I said.
I had a good reason.
He said, I'm not going. And I thought he was kidding. But then, poor J.R. Rhodes. J.R. Rhodes, who was the one talking to the director. I mean, they're waiting for Dale. They've called him to the set. Lindsay's waiting. Herbie's waiting. Dale's not going. And now I realize, well, there must be a real good reason. There must be a reason. It must be. And then he gave it. And Dale Jr.'s reason for not doing the movie was, in a moment of clarity and priority and American patriotism, he said, I ain't getting beat by no Volkswagen. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I can work for that man. I can work for that man. Thank you all for tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
That's a great way to end it. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we did. We've had a lot of fun sitting up here, and I know we've been talking a while, but DW is great. Want to thank him for coming out. Thanks again to Ally, but mostly thanks to y'all. Honestly, the support that y'all give. If you listen to the download, we appreciate that. But you guys supporting our sport, the sport of NASCAR, we couldn't be more thankful for all the things you do to keep us going around in circles each week. Hope you guys enjoy yourself this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the racetrack. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Mike Davis, folks.